All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahawah, Ba Hashem, Yahawah Shai, Ba Hashem, Kadash, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahawah, and His unbegotten Son, Ba Hashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahawah Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, all Kadash over tongue. And I said Barakatham to the elders and apostles of Akim, Akwaf, and I say Shalom. So back out here again, once again, on the Highways and Hedges, the Plus Concourse on this June 14th, 2026, on this Sunday morning. And Thwadi Habashmashai, as always, forgive us the chance to come out here to lifting up the names of Yahawah Wa Yahawashi and Thwadi Habashmashai, So bring out some couple of news articles as we continue to occupy prophecies. Because supposedly it's supposed to be a deal. Supposedly it's supposed to be a deal signed today from from Trump saying that he's saying supposed to be a deal supposed to be signed today. No, a deal supposed to be signed today. Because you had the Israel Defense Force, they was talking about. You had the you had Iran that was saying that potentially they're not going to sign no deal today because they still working finalizing the deal. There's still more talks, more discussions about the deal. They haven't been 100% fully finalized yet, so it's in the process and stages of it being finalized. But I think the foreign minister saying that the deal is not fully authorized yet. It's not fully finalized. So right. So this is let's yeah. It says Israel braced for a Iranian missile fire after a strike in Hezbollah and Beirut. Right, because you had Nero 47. He was talking about you had Nero 47. He was talking about that strike that the Israel Defense Force did. They were supposed to do that. Because they said in the near future, hopefully it won't be no future strikes. So most likely they're not gonna sign this deal today, probably in the next couple of days. So even if they do sign this deal, because you're still gonna have tensions heating up between Iran and Israel. And so now that the United States, they gonna be out the way, and then the tensions might heat back up once again between Iran and Israel. And because you got Benjamin Netanyahu, he do a lot of unrighteous decrees. So that lets you know tensions gonna heat back up between Iran and Israel potentially. Because Trump was talking about he's having the Israel Defense Force. He said the strikes because I think they had like a cabinet meeting between the Israel Defense Force. It was a cabinet meeting with the Israel Defense Force, and then they informed Trump administration about the airstrikes that they did because supposedly Hezbollah did a strike on them like a drone strike consistently, and then if that was the case, they were supposed to target over there. They were supposed to target the targets of the borders of Israel. I mean the borders of Lebanon, not over there in Beirut. They were supposed to target airstrikes over there in Beirut from a self. They were supposed to target airstrikes over there in Lebanon, not throughout Beirut, because they still had that fragile ceasefire, pending pending the actual deal that they were supposed to sign. According to Trump, they were supposed to sign this day, but I think the foreign minister of Iran said that they still in the final stages of this deal. So even if they do sign that deal, that shows you that you're still going to see tensions between Iran and Israel still going to heat up in the near future. Because Trump was kind of wishing that it'd be no future strikes over there in Beirut in the near future, because he told the Israel Defense Force it should not have happened. That airstrike should not have happened. If that was the case, they should have struck in Lebanon, not inside of Beirut. So, and you had I think you had the one of the top leaders of Iran, the spokesperson. He was saying that once we sign this deal, is the Israel Defense Force they're going to keep their if they're going to keep their agreement, if they're going to keep their commitment, their agreement. So we're going to keep our commitment. We're not gonna attack y'all in self defense, but y'all do have a right to attack us in self defense of Hezbollah. I believe they said Iran was saying they're not going to fully abandon Hezbollah because Hezbollah is still allies with them. So they're not going to fully abandon them because most likely the Israel Defense Force they're gonna withdraw from Lebanon and Beirut, and I think they supposedly really want to have Hezbollah in that deal from them to disarm their weaponry, but that's not gonna happen. So that's the most likely scenario, you know. So even if they do sign this deal between Israel, Iran, and the United States, but that's still going to show you're still going to have more tension between Iran and Israel in the near future. So you know, I just want to add a sad note to that. It says Iran's Persensky says that top security body backs the path of dialogue at the hard lines rebuking of negotiators. It says, because I believe they said they had unlived a Ishmaelite that was a top commander of the Hezbollah of the Israel Defense Force. They said IDF could form this phone phone tweaking. Salaki. Yeah, this phone tweaking. Yeah, it says. See if I can be able to bring that news article up. This phone tripping. Hey, you had another update from time of Israel. It says Trump on Beirut strike. It says Netanyahu has no fucking judgment. He said he has no fucking judgment. Hey, Esau is mad at Bibi over there in Israel. And so if that's the case, that lets you know, because you had the, what was that, before they started the strike, they had informed the administration of the United States about they was going to do that respond by airstrike of those drone strikes and those missile strikes that Hezbollah did and return back into self-defense, you know. Because hey, Trump was saying he got so furious, he got so updated. I mean, he got so furious, he got so mad. He was like, Benjamin Netanyahu not supposed to make no effing judgment, you know, which he was previously mad about him previously. So that lets you know the relations between Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump is kind of unstable. You know? It says, so I'm gonna leave it at that. It says. Yep, it says Trump says on Beirut strike, it says Netanyahu has no fucking judgment, right? So Netanyahu has no freaking judgment. That's what he said, you know. And so Nero 47 is kind of furious. So in the near future, Trump was hoping that the Israel Defense Force don't do no strikes over in Lebanon or in Beirut once they sign this deal. So if that's the case, hey, the Israel Defense Force, they're going to do the same playbook from day one. Hey, they're going to potentially violate the ceasefire. And then the tensions might heat up between Iran and Israel is going to heat up once again, like it never left. What was I about to say? Like it never left. So the tensions are going to heat back up once again, even if they do sign this deal between Israel, the United States, and Iran. Even if they do sign this deal, so the tension between Iran and Israel is going to heat back up once again. So that lets you know, despite the fact they signed that ceasefire and to halt those strikes a couple of weeks ago, that lets you know the tensions are still there between Iran and Israel. So even if they sign this deal, hey, tensions are still going to be there. Because the United States and the United States armies, they're not going to be involved in it because you're still going to have Iran and Israel going to heat back up once again, despite the fact they're going to sign that deal. So the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter. But these are signs of wars and rumors of wars that Yahawah spoke about. So they had like a cabinet meeting between Benjamin Netanyahu and his cabinet over there in Israel. So they were saying they prepare for multi-front wars just in case if Iran respond back before they sign this deal. You know, this is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6. Damn. Fuck. Yeah, it's about Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6. Yeah, Matthew's 24 verse 6, kind of slipping the tongue of words a little bit, so my apologies for that. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6. It says, ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but it is not yet. Right, so you're still going to hear wars and rumors of wars, despite the fact they might sound a peace agreement, ceasefire agreement, trust agreement, which they previously did, so the same old playbook. But like I mentioned again, I won't be surprised even if they do sign this deal. Tensions are still going to be heating up between Israel and Iran. You know, because you had Benjamin Netanyahu and his cabinet. They were saying that and this war is not over yet between us and Iran. And so, throughout Yahawah, this is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom," which goes into ethnos. It says, "And there shall be famines and pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places." Right, so you're still going to see nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. As I mentioned again, that goes into ethnos. You're going to have the famines and pestilent plagues, earthquakes in diverse places right along with it. But definitely particular the nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom on a modern day daily basis. And this is the book of Luke 21 and verse 25. It says, "And there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars, and upon the earth the distress of nations will perplex sea ridge roaring." Right, so we still going to be seeing the modern day uptick of the distress of nations will perplex sea ridge roaring. Hey, especially between Iran and Israel. So, hey, even if they sign the deal, hey, this is going to heat back up once again. Hey, like in that from my thought. Hey, they're going to make Nero 47 more mad at BB now, so more than ever, This is the book of Mark chapter 3 and verse 24. Hey, shout out to that brother Yahawah, the prophets on the scene, just become twin. This is Mark chapter 3 verse 24. It says, "And if a kingdom be divided, except the king cannot stand." Right, so we say these modern day nations and modern day kingdoms are being divided now so more than ever. This is Mark chapter 3 verse 25. It says, "And if a house be divided, his house has not stand." Right, especially between Esau and Edom. And that Revelation 17 verse 16, that's still going to come into in full effect. You're still going to see modern day ruler against modern day ruler, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, seditions, uprises, uproars, people world on a day-to-day basis. So we'll bring out that Jeremiah, 28 verse 8, Salakia. Still book of Jeremiah, chapter 28 verse 8. It says, "The prophets that have been before thee and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and great kingdoms, war, evil, and a pestilence." Right, so it's like Jeremiah, and when he was on the scene, he was prophesying against great countries and great kingdoms, war, evil, and a pestilence. And that's what happened in our world today. We're prophesying against great countries and great kingdoms, war, evil, and a pestilence. This is Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 9. It says, "The prophet which prophesied peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass. Then should the prophet be known that your heavenly Father has surely sent," right? Because the prophecy is going to come to pass, be fulfilled. And this is Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 46 in the reads of the Holy Scriptures. It says, "And least your heart faint your fear for the rumor that should be heard in the land. And a rumor should come both 1 year, after that another year should come a rumor. Rise to land, rule against rule." Right, so modern day rule against modern day ruler is still going to continue to show forth. So I'm going to leave it at that. Get to that Joel. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare a war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up." Right, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. They still going to be over there in the Middle East, despite the fact they signed that deal. Joel, chapter 3, verse 10. It says, "Beat your plowshares with swords and the pointy hooks and the spears, and let the weak stand strong." Hey, you still going to have the Houthi rebels, the proxy groups, the pro-Iranian groups. They still going to be going against the defense wars, So I won't be surprised the Kurdistan armies and rising up against the against the Turkish armies. And then Turkey gonna be teaming up with Russia and all them. They all gonna be continuing to battle out over there in Western Asia. And this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, "To everything there is a season and a time of every purpose of heaven." Right, so we still live in the times of how you doing, man? So we still live in the time where modern day times and seasons and every purpose of heaven. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 3 verse 8. It says, "In a time of love, in a time of HATE, in a time of war, a time of peace." Right, so we still in those times, HATE, in a time of war, and the war of evil and pestilence that Yahawah has shown us on a day-to-day basis. So I'm leaving it at that. And this is the book of Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. So I believe you had, I think I spoke about that yesterday, and I wanted to mention that this morning. You had another close encounter with NATO and Russia. So the Russia-Ukraine situation, that's intensifying. And then NATO and European Union, those systems are still heating up here. This is Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 4. It says, I'm starting at verse 1. It says, this is the book of Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 1. It says, "The word of Yahawah came unto me, saying," Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 2. It says, "Son of man, set thy face against God and Magog, and the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him." So we're prophesying against God and Magog, chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. And this is Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 3. It says, thus saith Yahawah, behold, I'm against thee, O God, chief prince of Meshach, Tubal, right still to this day. 11:44, call Allah Yahawah. And this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 4. It says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth from all thy army, horse and horsemen. All of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company of shields, even a great company of shields. That lets you know Russia is still going to be in that warlike mindset. That's why Yahawah is going to continue to put the hooks of action jaws into Russia to continue to be in that warlike mindset. That's why we're still seeing the Russia-Ukraine situation that's intensifying by the day. And we're seeing NATO versus Russia that's intensifying by the day. We potentially might see Russia versus the United States that might heat back up once again. So that lets you know that Russia, they still in that warlike mindset. You know? This is Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 5. Because even if, like I mentioned again, even if they sign that deal between Iran, Israel, and the United States, despite the fact they might sign that deal, hey, you're still gonna have tension between Iran and Israel once again. You know, like it never left. This is Ezekiel because they are arch enemies. You know. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 5. It says, Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with all of them with shield of him. Why? Because Russia, they're going to be a guard to Iran as well, too. And Ethiopia and Libya as well, too. All of them with shield of him. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 6, it says Gomer, which is modern day Turkey. Because Turkey and Israel, those tensions are going to heat back up once again. Because Turkey is going to coincide with Russia. It says now that the United States might set their focus away from Iran, now their main focus potentially going to be over there in Cuba. Because you had that recent airstrike over there in Venezuela. He had Nero 47 performed at one of those top leaders of that organization over there in Venezuela. Had got unalived by airstrike, you know. So that lets you know you're still going to have some wars and promotions down there in Latin America, you know. It's going to heat back up once again. It says because Esau going to have his next target over there in Cuba. And then you're gonna have Russia. You're gonna have Russia to back them up as well too. So this book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 7, it says, "Be thou prepare for thyself and all thy companies that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." Right. So Russia is gonna be guards these nations: Iran, Ethiopia, Libya, and Turkey. They're gonna be going against the Israel Defense Force and their allies over there in Western Asia, especially particular over there in Iraq and Syria. So that's why you still got the Israel Defense Force. They've saying, hey, we're going to continue to deal with a multi-front war. You know, we are prepared if Iran retaliate back before they sign this deal with the United States. And so that lets you know that's an indicator. Even if they do sign this deal, that lets you know the tensions are still going to be there between Iran and Israel. You know, and that's why Russia's going to be a guard unto them. Because Russia, they got military bases over there in Syria as well too. So all this makes perfect sense. Hey, Yahawah got all this set up. You know, hey, Wadi Yahawah. And this is a book of Ezekiel, chapter Salaki. Hey, so it doesn't matter if Nero 47 signing these peace deals, thinking that he's doing something. Hey, Yahawah got Esau and these other nations in the trick bag, especially these armies of other nations. Now, the Heavenly Father is going to allow them to have these peace deals and ceasefire agreements, which this is nothing new under the sun. They sign peace deals and ceasefire agreements. They break it. It ain't going to last that long. So this is nothing new under the sun. You know, this is the same old playbook. Nothing new. You know, this is Ezekiel, so I won't be surprised if the Israel Defense Force break the ceasefire once again, just like they did over there in Lebanon, just like they did over there in the Gaza Strip, just like they did that over the Palestinian territory. So this is nothing new under the sun. You know. This is Ezekiel chapter 39 and verse 1. It says, therefore thou son of man prophesy. Yeah, it says thus. It says, therefore thou son of man prophesy against God. Say, thus saith Yahawah. It says, behold, I am against thee, O God, chief Christian Meshach Tubal. Ezekiel chapter 39 and verse 2, when it reads, it says, and I will turn thee back and leave but the sixth part of thee, and I will cause to come up from the north parts, I will bring thee upon the mount of Israel. Ezekiel chapter 39 and verse 3, it says, and I will smite thy bow at thy left hand, and I will cause thy arrows to fall at thy right hand. Come. And this is the book of Isaiah chapter 17 and verse 1. It says, so it doesn't matter if they do sign a peace deal, but you're still going to have those proxy wars and escalations still heating up over there in the Middle East, Western Asia. And so you're going to have the Kurdistan armies. They still going to be battling against the Turkish armies, and Russia's going to be a guard unto them. You're going to have the Kurdistan armies going to be teaming up with the Israel Defense Force. And so that's going to stir up more tensions more once again over there in Western Asia, especially particularly over there in Syria, Iraq and Syria. it makes perfect sense because you're still going to have the Iranians using airstrike against those Kurdistan armies, and Israel defense force. And it says Isaiah chapter right, the prophecies about Damascus. Isaiah chapter 17 verse 1. It says the herd of Damascus, behold, Damascus take away from being the city, and there shall be Israel heat. Right, so Damascus, Assyria is still going to be taken away from being the city, and there shall be Israel heat. So this is a future prophecy that we still going to be seeing Damascus, Assyria still going to be taken away from being the city, which is still going to have some heavy escalation between those proxy groups going against the Turkish armies, the Kurdistan armies, the Syrian Defense Force armies, and the Israel Defense Force armies. Because the dragons of Arabia, they're going to remember themselves in these days as well too, as the prophet Prophet Esdras had mentioned. That's in second Esdras. Isaiah 17 verse 9, it says, in that day shall his strong city as be forsaken and brought in the uttermost branch, which they left because the children of Israel shall be desolate. Right, so prophet Isaiah was saying, hey, that land's going to be desolate ever since the children of Israel left that area. So that land's going to be desolate. So that's going to stir up more tensions over there in Western Asia. And this is the book of, Ezekiel, not Ezekiel, Isaiah 13 verse 17. So lock here for a second. Yeah, it's the book of, this phone been tripping as of late. Yeah, it's the book of Isaiah chapter 13 verse 17. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which they shall not regard silver. As we go, they shall not divide in. Right, so as we go in the silver, they shall not divide in. So that lets you know the tension between Russia and the United States, that's going to heat back up once again. Ever since February the 5th, 2026, ever since that nuclear treaty been expired between Russia and the United States, that nuclear arms agreement, that nuclear arms treaty was expired. And ever since then, tension is going to heat back up between Russia and the United States, even though you've been having tensions between the U.S. bloc of NATO versus the United States, but you're still going to have the United States still going to be an ally to NATO going against Belarus and Russia. So this Russia versus the United States nuclear arms race is going to heat back up once again. Now, of course, it had cooled off for a second, but it's going to heat back up once again. This is the book of Luke 21 and verse 9. Yeah, Luke 21 and verse 9. It says, but when you should hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass. But the end is not by end by. Right, it's going to come to pass, but not going to end shall end by end by. So on a daily basis, we're going to be hearing wars and rumors of wars, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, going to be heating up at a daily basis at an alarming rate. Because you're still going to have Russia versus Ukraine. That's still going to heat up. You had, just like yesterday that I mentioned, you had South Korea did another transaction with the United States. I believe it was like $30 million in military aid assistance, and sent more nuclear air to, I think it's like air to air, surface, air to air missile capability that they send over there in South Korea. So that lets you know that the tension between North Korea versus South Korea, Japan, and the United States, that's going to heat back up. Just like North Korea been building up their nuclear capability. So just so even if one even if one area the war might stop, and you got escalation heating up in other areas, different places around the world. That's why Yahawah says you're still gonna hear wars and rumors of wars. You're gonna hear rumors of wars, and you're gonna hear actual wars and rumors of wars, and that's what we hear in our world today. It says Luke 21 and verse 10, right? More things to come. It says, then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, which that goes into ethnos. And you got Esau versus Elam with the war in Iran, which is most likely going to end once they sign that deal. But you're still going to have Iran versus Israel, and that's what you call nation against nation. And you got the Palestinians still resisting against the Israel Defense Force. That's what you call nation against nation. And you got Esau versus Jacob. That's nation against nation. And you got Ishmael versus Small Hatters, and that's what you call nation against nation. And you got those protests that have been taking place over there in Ireland, Northern Ireland, as they protesting. Because I think you had, what was that, yesterday? You had some anti-immigration protesters and some that was that's with the immigration protesters. You had them two clashing over there in Ireland, I believe, and then you had another protest over there in Europe. So we started to see nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. So we seeing the seditions, the uprises, the uproars, people world. We seeing the nations are in perplexity. Like it says in the book of Second Edges, verse 3, there shall be seen earthquakes in the uproars, people world. So this is what we seeing on a day-to-day basis. I just want to add a side note to that. Yeah, it's the book of Luke 21, verse 10. It says, then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. What was that like a couple of days ago? You had an airstrike from, I think, from Pakistan targeted Afghanistan. So that lets you know the tension between Pakistan and Afghanistan that's still heating up. And you still got tensions between Thailand and Cambodia. I won't be surprised that heat back up because tensions been it's been calmed down ever since then, a couple months ago. So I won't be surprised those tensions heat back up. And you still got tensions heating up over there in Congo, over there in Sudan, between the borders of Ethiopia and Sudan, South Sudan. You still got tensions heating up over there in Myanmar, and all these different places. Tensions are heating up between these nations. So that's going to continue to increase. You got China versus Taiwan. That's still heating up. You still got China versus the Philippines. You still got China versus Japan. You got China versus the United States. That's going to heat back up. It says Luke 21 and verse 10, then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and potentially Cuba versus the United States armies. That might heat. That's going to heat back up. That's might be Esau's next target down there in Cuba, trying to use these economical sanctions on these president down there in Cuba, going against the Castros down there. Even though the Castros they've been in power for a very long time, because he's like a former leader. Castro, his son, them down there. Hey, Trump still mess with them down there, trying to use economical sanctions on them, using emergency, what you call that, executive orders, emergencies to block importing and exporting goods over there to Cuba. That because you got Cuba is allies with Russia and all them. Because the United States look at that as illegal, So So this is what you call. I'm waiting for the truck to go past. So you're going to see this in multiple different categories. You're going to have these political wars, geopolitical wars, economical wars, trade wars, oil wars, sanctuary wars, what the case may be. And this is Revelations, chapter 9, verse 12. It says, "One will pass, and behold, there come two woes to thereafter. Why? So one will pass, and become that who? Two woes here thereafter." And this is the book of Revelations, 11, verse 14. It says, "The second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly." Right, so the second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. Armageddon, Armageddon. That's what it said. And shout out to that brother Yahawah, the prophets on the scene, just come between. I'm still good for what Yahawah Shemashah. And this is Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8. Read that again. It says, "The prophets that have it before thee, and before," matter of fact, I'm read verse 7. Jeremiah 28, verse 7. It says, "Nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak into the ears of and the ears of all the people." Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8. It says, "The prophets that have it before thee and before thee of old prophesy both against many countries and great kingdoms, war, evil, and a pestilence." Right, and that's what we're seeing: war, evil, and a pestilence. So that's only going to continue to increase, and that's what we see in our world today. Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 9, it says, "The prophet which prophesied of peace, when the word of the prophet should come to pass, then should the prophet known that Yahawah should be sent." Why? Because Yahawah Shemashah has should be sent. And these prophecies, they're going to come to pass with the field. So I'm going to get to that Matthew, the 24th chapter, start at verse 1. Right, it says, "Signs of Yahawah's return." Right, signs of Yahawah Shemashah's return. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 1. It says, "And Yahawah went out to depart from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple." Matthew 24 and verse 2. Hey, shout out to that brother Yahawah once again, prophets on the scene, just come between. This is Matthew 24. Take off this sweater, it's kind of hot. Salakia. shall continue on what I left off at. You guys, the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 1. It says, and Yahawah brought out the prophet from the temple, and his disciples came to him, showing the buildings of the temple. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 2. It says, and Yahawah say unto them, it says, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be one stone upon down, down. Now should be thrown down. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3, and it reads, it says, and as he sat down upon the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came unto him private, saying, tell us when should these things be, and on the side of thy coming unto the end of the world. Matthew 24 and verse 4, and it reads to the Holy Scriptures. It says, and Yahawah answered and say unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Why? So Yahawah says, take heed that no man deceive you. And we're taking heed to that as well too, just like the apostles did there in their times. Matthew 24 and verse 5, for many shall come in my name, saying, I'm Hamashiach, Yahawah shall deceive many, right? So many come in the name of God, Yahawah, Hamashiach shall deceive many, and we'll take heed to that. Matthew 24 and verse 6, it says, ye should hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but it is not that. Why? So it's going to come to pass, but I'm not going to answer that. Verse 7, it says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, which goes to Ethnos, and there shall be famines and pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places. Right, so more and more famines and pestilent plagues, and the earthquakes in diverse places, and more the wars and rumors of wars. This is Matthew 24 and verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Right, so all these is the beginning of sorrows that Yahawah spoke about. This is Matthew 24 and verse 9. It says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and they shall KILL, and ye shall be hated of all this is for my name's sake. Right, that's the praise on that. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 10. It says, then shall many be offended, and they shall betray one another, they shall HAT one another. Right, just like that was happening in those ancient times when Yahawah and them when they was on the scene. That's going to occur in these times. Matthew 24 and verse 11. It says, and many false prophets shall arise to deceive many. Right, so many false prophets shall arise to deceive many. That's why Yahawah says, take heed that no man deceive you, especially in these times. This is Matthew 24 and verse 12, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall rise cold. And so you're going to see lawlessness and iniquity is going to abound over here in the version out of Babylon and around the world. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13. It says, but he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. Right, so as long as we continue to endure to the end, the same shall be saved. The hopeful elect, the remnant, the Israelites. Matthew 24 and verse 14. Guys, book of Matthew 24 verse 14. It says, and the gospel of the kingdom should be preached to all the world for a witness unto all nations and should come. Right, so the gospel of the kingdom is being preached unto all the world for a witness unto all nations and should come. And that's what we're seeing. The gospel of the kingdom is being preached unto all the world for a witness unto all nations and should come. Hey, because knowledge should be increased. So we're coming back to our lot in these end days, in these modern day end days, just like our forefather Daniel did. And that's what we're doing, coming back to our lot as being servants of prophets unto Yahawah Wa Yahawashi. That's why the gospel of the kingdom is being preached unto all the world for a witness. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 15. It says, when ye therefore shall see the abomination spoke about Daniel the prophet stand in his holy place, and whoso readeth let him understand. Matthew 24 verse 16, it reads to the Holy Scriptures. It says, then let him which be in Judea to flee into the mountains. Matthew 24 and verse 17. It says, let him which is on the housetop and not come down and take anything out of his house. This is the book of Matthew 24 verse 18. It says, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. Matthew 24 and verse 19, it reads the Holy Scriptures. It says, and woe unto them that give child to get supper in those days, right? In those days, these are very important times to come. It's like it was during those days. We're in those days once again, but in modern day times, so there's no new thing under the sun. This is Matthew 24 and verse 20, and it reads to the Holy Scriptures. It said, but pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Sabbath day. Matthew 24 and verse 21 reads, it says, for then shall be great tribulation, since the beginning is towards this time ever should be. Right, so this is going to be a great tribulation time, since the beginning is towards this time ever should be. Matthew 24 verse 22. It says, except those days should be short. Yep, it says, except those days should be shortened. It said, no flesh should be saved, but for your elect say those days should be shortened. Right, so the Heavenly Father is going to speed up the days, and Yahawah as well soon going to speed up the days for the elect's sake. So we want to be part of the remnant, part of the hopeful elect. And just like Yahawah was speeding up the day for the elect's sake during those times, it's going to occur in these times, because there's no new thing under the sun. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 23. It says, then if any man should say unto you, lo, here is Yahawah Hamashiach, or they believe it or not. This is Matthew 24, verse 24. It says, for there shall arise false Hamashiachs and false prophets, still great signs and wonders, and it's very impossible they shall deceive the very elect. Why? So Yahawah Shai is going to make sure the elect is not going to be deceived. This is Matthew 24 and verse 25. It says, behold, I had told you before, in verse 26. It says, wherefore if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the dancer, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it or not. Matthew 24, verse 27. It says, for as the lightning come out of the east and shining unto the west, so shall also come the Son of Man, which is Yahawah Shai. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 28. It says, for whosoever the carpenters is there, and the east guys together, why the glorious return. It says Matthew 24, verse 29, and reads the Holy Scriptures. It says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkening, and the moon shall not give her light. It says, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Matthew 24 and verse 30 reads, it says, then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Then shall all the tribes of the earth shall mourn when they shall see the Son of Man in the clouds of heaven in his great glory. Right, how is great glory. Matthew 24 and verse 31. It says, he shall send his angels with a great sign of the shofar, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds into heaven to the other. Why? So Yahawah Shai is going to gather together his elect from the four winds into heaven to the earth. So we want to be part of that hopeful elect, be part of that remnant. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 32. It says, and now learn a parable of a fig tree. His branch is yet tender. He put it forth. You know that summer is nigh. Matthew 24, verse 33. It says, so likewise, when you see all these things, it is near at the door. Right, so once we see all these signs, we know it is near at the door. Biblical times and signs of times. Matthew, just like it was in ancient times, now it's current these times. Matthew chapter 24, verse 34, it says, verily I say unto you that this generation should not pass until all these things be fulfilled. And it seemed like we might be in that generation of these prophecies increasingly coming past fulfillment. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 35. It says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall pass away. Right, the words of Yahawah Shai is going to continue to go forth because he's the Ancient of Days. He doesn't change. Like it says in Malachi 3 and verse 6. It says Matthew 24 verse 36. It says, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. Why is the heavenly Father? He only knows when he's going to make his return. That's why he shows us these signs on earth today before he makes his return. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 37. It says, but as the days of Noah, so shall also come in the Son of Man. Why? So we are in the days of Noah. Matthew 24 verse 38. It says, but as the days of before the flood, they were eating and drinking and giving to marriage, and to the day that Noah entered the ark. Right, so we're in those days once again. Matthew 24 and verse 39. It says, and knew not until the flood came and took them all the way, so shall also come at the Son of Man. Why? But this time around, Yahawah Shai is coming back with fire in the days of Lot, in the days of Noah. Matthew 24 and verse 40. It says, the two shall be in the field, one shall take out the left, and verse 41. The two women shall be grinding at the mill, one shall take out the left. Right, it says, be ready for his coming. Verse 42. It says, watch therefore, for you know not how to come. Right, so you come at Stephen night. This is verse 42. It says, but know this. It says, but know this of the good man of the house will have known, watch, and the thief will come. He will have watched, given out supper, house broken up. Matthew 20, verse 44. It says, therefore be ye also ready in such an hour as think not some man come. Right, so come to Stephen night. And this is verse 45. It says, for then who is a faithful and wise servant whom Yahawah Shai has been ruled to hustle to give you receipt. Verse 46. It says, blessed is that servant whom Yahawah Shai comes to find doing. Right, so blessed is that servant whom Yahawah Shai comes to find doing. Matthew 24 verse 47. It says, verily I say unto you, he shall make a room of all his goods. And this is verse 48. It says, but if an evil servant shall say in his heart, it says, my power, Yahawah Shai is coming. Verse 49. He shall begin to smite his fellow servant, eat to eat and drink to drink. And verse 50. And the power of Yahawah Shai is coming the day when you're looking out for him. And the hours days now where Christ is coming Stephen night. This is Matthew 24 verse 51. It says, he shall cut him asunder and portion of hypocrites. That should be right. So Yahawah Shai there's going to be a lot of people nasty teeth for him. So just like in the days of Noah, so shall also come in the Son of Man. And this is the book of 1 Thessalonians. This is the book of right the day of the Lord, the day of Yahawah Shai. This is First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. It says, but of the times and season, brethren, ye have indeed that I write unto you, write unto us, the Israelites. Apostle Paul speaking to his brethren, Israelites. First Thessalonians 5, verse 2, it says, for yourself live perfect, that the day of Yahawah Wa Yahawashi shall come and sleep in the night. Right, the day of Yahawah Wa Yahawashi is definitely going to come and sleep in the night. First Thessalonians 5, verse 3, it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction come upon them, as a travail when the child shall not escape. Right, because even if Nero 47 signed peace deal between Israel and Iran, and this defense force, hey, you're still gonna have prophecy still gonna come and pass the field. This is First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 4. It says, but ye brethren, and not in darkness, that day shall overtake you as thief, as coming back into the ways of Yahawah Wa Yahawashi. This is verse 5. It says, ye are the children of the light and the children of the day. We are not night nor darkness. Right, so we want to continue to be the children of the light and not of night nor darkness. This is verse 6. It says, therefore let us not sleep as with others, let us watch be sober. Right, so let us not sleep as with others, let us watch be sober. Because what's that, Isaiah the 60th chapter, the whole world is still in the gross darkness, because the earth is still gets its hands with it. So we come back into the light of Yahawah Wa Yahawashi. This is First Thessalonians 5, verse 7. It says, for they that sleep in the night, they have a drink, not drunk in the night. Verse 8. It says, but let us who are of the day be sober and put on the breastplate and faith and love and have hope of salvation. So we want to continue to be of the day and be sober and put on the breastplate and faith and love and have hope of salvation. And the body have Yahawah Wa Yahawashi. So I'm gonna bring out that First John. It's the book of First John chapter 2 and verse 15. It says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man loves the world, the love of the Father is in him, right? Especially the Israelite man. So we want to love the ways of the Father, not love the ways of this world. Now, even though we're in the world, but not of it, mentally and spiritually, now our mindset is not the ways of this world. This is 1 John 2 verse 16. It says, for all that's in the world, and the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the fathers of the world. Right? What's that? Proverbs 16 verse 18. Pride go for a source, lost go for a fall. This is 1 John 2 verse 17. It says, in the world passeth away and lust thereof, but he that does the will of the Heavenly Father Yahawah and abide forever. Right, so we're going to continue to abide in the ways of the Heavenly Father Yahawah forever. This is 1 John 2 verse 18. It says, little children, is the last time if you have heard that the anti-Hamashiach should come. Even now there are many anti-Hamashiachs. They are about those last times, right? So the anti-Hamashiach going to come. There's going to be many more anti-Hamashiachs. They are about those last times, just like the Apostle John has mentioned to the Israelites. And this is the book of 2 Thessalonians. It says 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 1. It says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the coming of Yahawah Wa Yahawashi, by our God together unto him. Right, Zephaniah 2 verse 1. And at Matthew 24 chapter verse 14. It says 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 2. It says that ye be not shaken in mind with a heart of mind, neither by trouble, neither by spirit, nor by word from letter from us, that the day of Yahawah Hamashiach is at hand, right, still at hand. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except the falling away first, that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Right, so the man of sin, the son of perdition, he's being revealed throughout the whole planet Earth. This is 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 4. It says, who opposes and exalts himself above all that's called God and his worship. So he has God sitting in the temple of God, showing himself he is God. Right, he make the likeness of this image, and it says where Borgia, Esau, Edom. This is Second Thessalonians 2 verse 5. It says, remember ye not that when I was with you, I had told you these things. And verse 6, it says, and now you know, withhold that he might be revealed in these times. Right, so the son of perdition, he's being revealed in these times. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 7. It says, for the mysteries of iniquity thou hast only worked, now will let it he be taken away. Right, so the wicked be taken away. 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 8. It says, then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahawah Wa Yahawashi shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Right, so the Heavenly Father can destroy the wicked with the brightness of his coming. And because the wicked, he have a short time to rule. That's in the book of Revelations, 12th chapter. And this is the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 25. It says, he shall spake great words against the Most High Yahawah, like the son of perdition. It says, he shall rear up the saints of the Most High, which are the Israelites, and think to change times, laws, and seasons. and it should be given to his hand to the time, the body times. Right, so since the earth is given to the hands of wicked, he changed the time, and the body times. So he only have a short time to rule. So it should be given to his hand to the time, the body times. And this is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, and verse 40, verse 21. It says, he changeth the times and seasons. He removed kings, he set up kings, he giveth wisdom unto the wise and to the knowledge to them and understanding. Right, so he give these nations a short time to rule. Daniel chapter 2, verse 44. It says, in the days of these kings shall Yahawah of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom should not be left to other people, but it should break into pieces and consume all these kingdoms and stand forever. And so the kingdom of Yahawah is going to stand forever as Yahawah. And so we know wicked, and he know he have a short time to rule. This is wisdom of Solomon. This is wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such have afflicted him and made no count of his labors. Right, so we stand in great boldness, prophesying against the wicked, and prophesying against like Esau, Edom, modern day Mount Seir. And because Esau had no count of the labors of the children of Israel, still to this day. This is wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 2. It says, when they shall see it, they shall be terribly feared. They shall be amazed at the springs of salvation. Right, the salvation of the Israelites so far beyond that they look for. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 3. Because Amalek and Esau think they're going to get salvation, but that's not the case because Esau sold his birthright. How you doing, brother? So Esau sold his birthright and gave it unto Jacob. That's in reference to Genesis 25th chapter. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 3. It says, and they're repenting and groaning in the anguish and the spirit saying with themselves, this was he whom we had sometime in the region, and proverb reproach, while we was made a proverb by reproach. Now we're waking back up to being the sons and daughters of the Most High. This is Wisdom of Solomon. A shout out to that brother Yahawah once again. Prophets on the scene, just become twin. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 4. It says, we fools who count his life madness, him not honor. Why you count our life as madness, him not honor. The Israelite man particularly. But we're waking back up to who we are as being the sons of the Most High, Yahawah, Prince of Power. Standing great boldness, prophesying against Esau, Edom, and his kingdom. Because you know he have a short time to rule. This is Wisdom of Solomon. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 1, from the Apocryphal books of the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, it says, and he say unto me in the beginning when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, or ever the winds blow. Second Edges 6, verse 2, and it reads to the Holy Scriptures from the Apocryphal books. It says, before it thunder and lightning were ever the foundations of paradise, paradise was laid. And verse 3, before the fair flowers were seen, or innumerable power of multitude were established. It says, for the multitudes of angels was gathered together. Second Edges 6, verse 4, it reads, it says, or ever the heights of the air was lifted up before the midst of the firmament were named, or every chimney of Sinai were hot. Second Edges 6, verse 5, it says, in the era of the present years was sought out, or ever the adventures of them that were now turned before they were sealed, they have gathered a faithful treasure. And this is Second Edges 6, verse 6. It says, then did I consider these things, they were made through me alone and through none other. They shall be in by another other, right, by Yahawah. Because we know the Heavenly Father played the end from the beginning. Like it says in Isaiah 46, verse 10. This is Second Edges 6, verse 7. It says, then answer I say, what should be pardoned the son of times? One shall be the end of the beginning of it that followeth. Right, so Ezra, he inquired about the end times. He was saying that, hey, one should be the end and beginning of that follow, because he spoke to the angels that inquired about the end times during his times. And so we're in the days of Ezra's modern day time spiritually. Second Edges 6, verse 8. It says, he say unto me from Abraham unto Isaac and Jacob, when Esau was born of him, Jacob's hand had first ahead of Esau. So the story between Jacob and Esau still stands to this day. Second Edges 6, verse 9. And for Esau is in the world, Jacob beginning of that follow. Right, so Esau's in the world, Jacob beginning of that follow. So Jacob got next to rule, Esau kingdom is falling. So that's why we're prophesying against modern day Mount Seir. Because Esau know you have a short time to rule. Second Edges chapter 9, verse 5, it says, for like all that's made the world had beginning ends manifest. Right, so for like all that's made the world had beginning ends manifest. And so Esau's in the world, Jacob beginning up to that follow. And so Esau kingdom is total, it's finished, it's through. It's cooked. Hey, through Yahawah. All right, now if we bring out that Job. Yeah, it's the book of matter of fact, Daniel 9 verse 27. Hey, so Esau come with this false peace hope with these nations that he's gonna have the covenant with, he's gonna break. And so that Daniel 9 verse 27, we're definitely in that. A Daniel 9 verse 27, it's really in full effect. Daniel 9 verse 27. Right, what's that? Isaiah 28 verse 22. Hey, there's no peace of the wicked, thus saith Yahawah Wa Yahawashi. This is Isaiah Daniel 9 verse 27. It says he should perform the covenant with many for 1 week, while the son of perdition had that covenant with the 1 week, that false hope, peace, and stability with the nations. And what's the Apostle Paul says, when they shall say peace and safety, such destruction come upon them, as of everyone child shall not escape. And so even the Esau, and even if Esau signed this deal with Iran, hey, he's still gonna have Iran versus Israel. Those tensions are still gonna be heating up, you know. And Esau, and Esau got so mad at Benjamin Netanyahu, and he was like, Benjamin Netanyahu, you're not the. He said, you're not the person to judge. He said, I'm the one that called the shots, you know. And Nero was furious about Benjamin Netanyahu having those strikes against Iran. Against Hezbollah, the pro-Iranian groups, you know. So that lets you know you're still gonna have tensions still gonna be heating up between Iran and Israel, and Iran. The pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force. So you're still gonna have cross-border conflicts heating up over there between the borders of Golden Heights and over there in Lebanon, throughout the whole region. You're still gonna have the pro-Iranian groups still going against the Israel Defense Force, and they still gonna be targeting them over there in the Mediterranean Sea, over there in the Red Sea, and throughout Western Asia. And they still gonna be targeting them over there in northern Israel, central Israel, southern Israel, central Israel, throughout the whole region. They still gonna be battling them over there, despite the fact they're gonna sign this deal. You know? So even though a part of that deal they about to sign, I don't know when they're gonna sign it. Supposedly they supposed to sign it today, but you got the foreign minister. He was talking about they're not gonna sign the deal today. You know, because I think Esau was saying that from the U.S. envoy was telling the UN. He said they determined to sign the deal today. So, but you still got the Israel Defense Force. You still got Iran was pushing back like, no, we're not gonna send it. We're not gonna sign it just right away, you know, because we're gonna see, hey, we're gonna sit back, you know, we're gonna sit back for the next couple of days. You know, we're gonna analyze the situation to see if the Israel Defense Force is gonna live up to that end of the bargain of the deal, you know, because they've been consistently breaking ceasefires, you know. Hey, United States, they've been doing the same thing as well too, supposedly in self-defense. So we're gonna see how this plays out. So they're not gonna sign it right away, you know, as Trump demanding them to sign it right away, and they're not gonna sign it right away because they see how the way the Israel Defense was a reckless violating ceasefires, what they previously did over there in Lebanon. It's like they did that over there in the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, Palestinian territory. So they cannot be trusted. That's according to the prime minister of Iran, and the top leader, top speaker of that Iran as well too. Spoke about that. I said like a couple of hours ago. So I just want to add a side note to that. And so Esau, he had these false hopes and peace with these nations, these covenants that he'd been breaking for a very long time. And Esau still got that mindset still to this day. Hey, they oppressing men's on house on heritage, breaking ceasefires, breaking covenants with the nations. Hey, that's Esau for you. This is Daniel chapter 9 verse 27. It says he should perform the covenant for many for 1 week, right? The wicked Esau Edom have a covenant with the nations 1 week. That false hope, that false peace with the nations. It says Daniel 9 verse 27, and he shall perform the covenant for many for 1 week. In the midst of the week, he should cause it to sacrifice. Yeah, it says he should cause Salaki. It says he should cause it to sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of the abominations, he shall make it desolate even to the consumption nations, and that to determine that you pour out upon the desolate. And that's Esau for you. And this is the book of Job, chapter 9, and verse 24. Yeah, Job 9, and verse 24, it says, the earth is given to the hands of wicked. He covered the faces of the judge thereof, if not what he is. And that's Esau Edom. Paint the likes of this image. First Maccabees 3 and verse 48. And this is and so there's no peace to the wicked, thus saith Yahawah Wa Yahawashi. This is Isaiah chapter 48 and verse 22. It says, there's no peace to the wicked. Right, this is the prophet Isaiah mentioned. He says, there's no peace to the wicked, thus saith Yahawah Wa Yahawashi unto the wicked. And so there's no peace unto the wicked. That said, that said, Yahawah Shemashah, that said the prophet Isaiah. And this is the book of Isaiah 5 verse 20. Because those Amalekites and those idea of Edomites, they doing a lot of unrighteous creeds. This is Isaiah 5 verse 20. It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, and put darkness for light and light for darkness, and put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Hey, those small hatters and those idea of Edomites. They do a lot of unrighteous creeds. I'm gonna bring that out as well too. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, verse 1. It says, "Woe unto them that." It says, "And woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees." And that's Esau, Edom, the wicked, the son of perdition, the man of lawlessness, man of sin. It says that right grievous unto them that have prescribed. A Nero 47, he do that. The nation of Edom, the Amalekites, still to this day, they do a lot of unrighteous decrees. They have pressed men's or houses on heritage instead of resources. Esau, Esau, dirty. He do that still to this day. Now Esau, Esau going around talking about all these other nations. Hey, Esau talking about Ishmael and Edom, talking about they dirty. Hey, Esau, you the one, you the number one on top of that list. You've been doing this for the beginning. you know, hey, these other nations are starting to have second. These other nations are starting to have second best. Is they should they fully trust you? That's why the scripture says, what's that? Ecclesiastes 12 verse 10. Never trust thy enemy, for iron wrestles wickedness. What's that? Psalms 64th chapter. His words were smoother than butter, but war in his heart. And that's Esau Edom, the wicked son of perdition, man of lawlessness. That's why he's being revealed these other times. Right. So even though Trump got a phone call with Vladimir, it says Putin holds a phone call with Trump. So it doesn't matter if you hold a phone call with Trump, because you're still gonna tensions gonna heat up between Iran, and you're still gonna have the tensions are still heating up between Russia and the United States. Hey, so Nero 47, hey, Yahawah Shemashah got you in a trick bag. Hey, so there's no peace to the wicked, thus saith Yahawah Shemashah. Yeah, this is a news article. Despite the fact, yeah, you had Nero 47. This is breaking news from Al Jazeera. It says Trump. It says Trump calls for all sides to stand down in Lebanon as Iran deal is so close. So even if you do have a deal, hey, those tensions are still going to be heating up between the pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force. You're still going to have Iran. You're still going to have Iran still going against Israel. And so even if you do sign a deal, hey, those tensions are still going to be heating up. So basically, that deal is going to be useless. you know. But oh yeah, and this is some before that deal is gonna be signed. Hey, this is what we're seeing right now as a moment. This is live updates from AlJazeera.com. This is 12 minutes ago. It says Hezbollah. What this pop go past? So you got a news article from Al Jazeera. This was 12 minutes ago. It says Hezbollah Slovakia. Yeah, this was 12 minutes ago. It says Hezbollah says it carried out 17 attacks on Israel forces inside Lebanon right after they did that strike over there in Beirut, southern Beirut. They supposedly target some Hezbollah targets over there in Beirut, over there in southern Beirut of Lebanon. Now you got Nero 47 calling all sides to stand down as the Iran deal is so close. And because you had the leaders of Iran, they were saying that before we signed this deal, hey, can the Unite can a the Iran leader, the spokesperson, he was saying like, hey, you got to talk to your boy BB, man. Hey, is he gonna hold his end the bargain of the deal? Is they gonna continue to keep on violating ceasefires, continue to blame us of these ceasefires, of these ceasefire violations, which they previously did, breaking covenants, breaking peace deals, and because Israel Defense was they known for that. It says 17 minutes ago. It says a finger on the trigger and ready to fire at enemy's heart, says the Iranian commander. Joel the 3rd chapter, let the weak say I'm strong. So even if they do sign this deal, you're still going to see let the weak say I'm strong. So you're still going to have the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and they still going to be on, and they still going to be on post. They still going to be on standby. That's he said. Fire. He said, fingers on the trigger, and we're gonna fire at the enemy. Why? Because the Iranians look at the Israelis as the enemy. You know, so even if they sign that deal, you're still gonna have those tensions between Iran and Israel. It said this is 22 minutes ago. It says Israel reports several area targets flying in. Yep, it says Israel reports several area targets flying Israel and Lebanon. Right, so most likely those are like drone strikes or missile strikes, probably intercepted by the Israel Defense Force. Hey, so you got Nero 47 calling Vladimir Putin. He calling people from Lebanon. He calling people. He calling Benjamin Netanyahu, telling him stand down. And then he had cussed out. He had cussed out Netanyahu. He said, "You the one that shouldn't be making judgments. You should not. You should have did that strike. You know." Now, I understand you had informed me that y'all confirmed that y'all did the strike over there because y'all had a cabinet meeting. They approved to do more military mission over there in southern Lebanon. You know? He said both of y'all need to stand down because we're getting close to a deal. So, like I mentioned again, even if I'm sounding like a record player, he, like I mentioned before, even if they do come to a deal between Iran, Israel, Defense Force, tensions are only going to escalate between Iran and Israel. You know? Now I'm going to check out the time of Israel. Yep, it says Hezbollah. Yep, it says 38 minutes ago. It says a Hezbollah rocket hit near the northern community. The Israel Defense Force has said. It says the Syrian Iranian. Yep, it says this is 48 minutes ago. It says that the Syrian Iranian MP has said strong response is coming to Israel. Hey, he said strong response is coming. So before they sign this deal, hey, we're gonna have some heavy airstrikes over there. Hey, we're gonna launch some ballistic missiles over there in over there in northern Israel, over there in southern Israel, and over there in central Israel, and through over there in Tel Aviv. And then we're gonna have the Houthi rebels. We're gonna have them launch airstrikes against y'all as well too. You know, it says, "Hey, Yahawah Wa Yahawashi." So, hey, so before they sign this deal, hey, so expect to see Iran is gonna respond back hard. You know, so this is the book of Slovakia. Yeah, I'm bring out that Joel, even though I brought it out already, bring it out for edification sake. Slovakia. This phone, this phone tripping, man. I don't know why it's acting like this. Yeah, this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse 9. It says, "Proclaim me this." It says, Joel, chapter 3, and verse 9. It says, "Proclaim me this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near them come up." Why? Because Iran say, "Hey, we still got our finger on the trigger. We ready to respond back, and so we're gonna respond back strong." You know? Despite the fact we might sign this deal. And so before we sign this deal, and we're going to use some heavy airstrikes of response to the Israel Defense Force against them. This is Joel 3, verse 9. "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty man, let all men of war draw near." Right, so the Gentiles are the armies of the other nations. It says, "Wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near to come up." Right, so that's what we're seeing over there in the Middle East, which is this is nothing new under the sun. This is Joel 3, verse 10. It says, "Beat your plowshares and the swords and the pony hooks and the spears, and let the weak sound strong." Right, let the weak sound strong. So even if we do sign a deal, hey, we still gonna be on alert. You know, going against the Israel Defense Force, because Israel Defense Force they cannot be fully trusted. Even if we do sign a deal with them, hey, we still gonna be on alert. We still gonna be on the offense and in the defense, like y'all said, the same strategy. You know. It says Joel chapter 3 verse 11. It says, "Assemble yourselves to come, all you heathen, right, the armies of the other nations, and gather yourselves together round about thither to cause like mighty ones to come down on Yahawah." This is Joel chapter 3 verse 12. It says, "Let the heathen be awakened, right, the armies of the other nations." It says, "Come up into the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there I will sit and judge all the heathen round about." I see Yahawah Shah is going to sit and judge all the modern day armies and nations around about with the brightness of his coming, because he's coming back with fire to judge the nations. I say the 34th chapter, controversy of desire. This is Joel chapter 10, verse 13. It says, put ye in the sickle for the harvest grip, come ye eat down and press it forward in the fast overflow, for their wickedness is great. Joel 10, verse 14, then I'm going to close it out. Joel chapter 10, verse 14, it says, multitudes and the multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahawah Shah is near the valley of decision. Right, for the day of Yahawah Shah is near the valley of decision, Armageddon, Armageddon 1. So you're still going to have the third war's war, it's still going to come to pass in the field. So hopefully this was edifying out here on the Highways and Hedges, the Chief Lexicon course on this June the 14th, 2026, on this Sunday noon, Sunday morning / noon. And so with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to say Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawah Shah, Bahashem, Mukakadash, and the Heavenly Father, the true name is Yahawah, and the Son of Begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach Yahawah Shah. And those are the true names in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew of the Lashkadas of the tongue. And I say Barakatham to the elders and apostles wa Akim wa Akwaf. Until next time, I would say Kwame Asherah and Abba Ball and Shalom.